Tristan Law Show. If it's your first time here, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Tristan Law, semi-retired pro wrestler and your host. WWE Crown Jewel delivered some big moments from Cody Rhodes and Liv Morgan claiming new championship rings, which we'll talk about. To Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins having unfinished business. And let's not ignore the chaos with the Bloodline. Plus, we've got news that Goldberg is retiring. I'm covering it all. Every highlight, every twist, and what's next. Welcome to the Tristan Law Show. Thanks so much for joining me here today. Yesterday, I think we got a really solid pay-per-view PLE from WWE yesterday afternoon. And we're going to look at all of the matches, some of the ups and downs, some things we're not really going to look into too much because it's really not worth the time. But let's take a look at the men's and women's Crown Jewel championship matches, starting with Cody's victory over Gunther. Look, I think it was a great match. The match served its purpose. Oh, and if you have any comments about WWE Crown Jewel, be sure to drop that in the comments. Whether you are doing it live or on demand right now, whichever way you're watching it, be sure to drop your comments and I want to hear from you. But looking at that match with Gunther and Cody Rhodes, I think it was a really solid match. You know, you always get a good match out of Cody Rhodes and you always get a good match out of Gunther. So, you know, that definitely delivered there like it was supposed to. However, you know, I feel like between both matches, for the Crown Jewel matches between the women and the men, it was just like, meh. It's just a match, just to have a match. You know, something we want to do for, you know, for the king in Saudi Arabia by giving him his own like special content, his own ring and stuff like that. So what they did was like the matches felt like they didn't really have anything to give. Look, in the end, they got the rings. You know, you see Triple H there in the middle holding up the hands of his champions, the Crown Jewel champions, Cody Rhodes and Liv Morgan. But it's just like they don't get to take the belts home. They don't get to defend the championships. It's just something that it's just like one and done. It's one and done. And to me, it just feels like it would have been a whole lot better if the wrestlers just put their championships on the line. Because now we're going to roll into a new week of WWE television, Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, and it's just going to be like, all right, well, that happened, but it didn't really happen, right? Because there's no real big implications from winning or losing the matches. However, when you look at the match between Nia Jax and Liv Morgan, you know, I think that match served its purpose. There was a little bit more implications after that match. There is a story that's going to occur in that match, and it's been the story that they've been telling the whole entire time. And the whole entire story that they've been telling the whole entire time is Nia Jax's insecurities around Tiffany Stratton being the Miss Money in the Bank, having the woman's Money in the Bank. And for those of you that don't know, that you've been living underneath a rock, having the Money in the Bank means that you can cash in your championship against any champion, any champion that you want. And everybody wants to go for the big belt, right? It's like when you go to a bar and they talking about this open bar, you want to drink all the expensive stuff. So, you know, I understand why Nia Jax is on edge, but Tiffany Stratton is her homegirl. That's her homegirl right here. You see Tiffany Stratton getting ready to cash in the Money in the Bank, right? But you have Nia Jax in the green. She's sitting there, she's laying there, and she's like pooped. She just almost won against Liv Morgan. However, I think that Tiffany Stratton was going to take that opportunity to cash in against Liv Morgan. If she cashed in against Liv Morgan, Nia Jax wouldn't have to finish the match. The match is done. But no, Nia is just so self-centered and just so worried. I think that Nia Jax needs a little bit of therapy. However, the reason why Nia Jax lost that match was because, you know, Nia Jax's eye wasn't on the ball. If her eye was on the ball like it was supposed to be, she definitely would have won that match. But nope, she was more worried about Tiffany Stratton, somebody that's supposed to be her friend. If that's supposed to be a homegirl, why are you worried about her so much? I don't know. But I'll tell you this. The crowd is boiling for Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton's time is coming. And thinking about it now, I'm just getting goosebumps. I just felt all the hairs on the back of my neck just raise up just thinking about it, right? And that's where it comes from for me for being a wrestler. Like, I know her time is coming. And as a fan, you know that Tiffany Stratton's time is coming as well, too. And when her time comes, man, I almost said girl, like I was talking to my sister. I'm going to pretend like I'm talking to my sister. Girl, you know it's going to be good by the time she cashes in. And you know what? I don't think that Tiffany Stratton wants to cash in on Nia Jax, but you know what? Nia Jax keep doing what she's doing. She's going to make it about her. She's going to make it about her. It's like when somebody says to you, why you got an attitude? I don't have an attitude. But you act like you got an attitude. You know what? Now I got an attitude, and the attitude is you. And Nia Jax, because you consistently have an attitude, that attitude is now going to be you. It's going to be you. If you like what I'm doing so far, please subscribe to the Tristan Law Show. It's a compliment to me. Makes me feel like I'm doing a great job, right? And I love compliments. It's a big pat on the back. Looking to grow this channel and do some really cool things in the future. If you're watching live or you're watching this later on sometime, thank you so much for joining me. Let's look at that match with Seth Rollins versus Big Bronson Reed. Let me tell you something. The storytelling in that match is fantastic. I love that match. It was another good match that we had. I think that all of the matches that were not for championships, not including the U.S. Championship, I think they were really good matches, right? Because most of the matches didn't really have any implications or they weren't really all that great. And I'm not saying that WWE Crown Jewel is not good, because WWE always puts on great television. However, I don't feel that WWE Crown Jewel 2024 is their Crown Jewel pay-per-view of the year, PLE of the year. You see what I kind of did there? A little bit. But there was, look, Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins, they got some beef. And the beef that they got, it stemmed from way back a couple weeks ago to where Bronson Reed did the big Bronson Reed splash and put Seth Rollins out of business for a couple weeks. And, you know, Seth Rollins came back with a vengeance, with a chip in his shoulder. And I think he settled that, right? I think that this rivalry, though, is far from over. When that match ended, right, Seth Rollins, in the final closing moments of the match, he gave Big Bronson Reed the curb stomp and busted him open. And Big Bronson Reed, man, he was not happy. Big Bronson Reed was calling Seth Rollins out like, no, come back, come back. And Seth Rollins was like, nah, bruh, I already run that match. There's nothing else for me to do here. I already said what I wanted to say. But if you want me, come find me. You know exactly where to find me. One of the things I was looking at, though, this is kind of a side note, when I was looking at Big Bronson Reed's gear, I was like, what is his gear? Like, is it Voltron or something like that? Please tell me in the comments, because I don't know. Help a brother out. But I can definitely tell you that this story between Big Bronson Reed, and Seth Rollins is far from over. And the reason why I say it's far from over, because look at that look on the face. This is the look on the face of Big Bronson Reed as Seth Rollins is walking away. Big Bronson Reed still wants more. And if you are going to be watching Raw in the next couple weeks, even as soon as tomorrow, there is going to be some serious furniture moving on Raw. And I definitely tell you that you want to check that out, because wherever Seth Rollins is, I 100% guarantee that Big Bronson Reed will be in the background waiting for him. So we had the women's tag team four-way match and the U.S. championship match. Those matches were cool. They were cool. You know, the women's four-way match for the WWE tag team title match, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, they retained. But I think there was a lack of excitement on my part, because you had the Metaphor, the two ladies from Metaphor. I felt like there was too much waiting around for their spots. And this is me giving my advice or my experience, my perspective from being a pro wrestler. And one of the things for me is just like, I hate waiting around. And when I mean waiting around, if you watch that match again on Peacock or YouTube or however it is that you want to watch it, I hate that when you're setting up for a move, like you're standing on the top rope and you're up there because you're trying to steady yourself and then you jump off. Okay, we know that pro wrestling is predetermined. We know 100% what pro wrestling is. So let's throw that out the window. But when you're looking at it psychologically, it's like, okay, that person been laying down there since Moses parted the Red Sea. And it's like, why are you still laying there? Why don't you move? There was one scene. There was one part where the ladies are getting ready to jump out of the ring, and you see everybody just standing there, they're checking their watches. Is it time yet? Has it happened yet? Where are they? And like for me, that part it's just a disconnect for me. I just don't have that emotional investment anymore, because it takes me out of the moment. And I don't know for you as a fan if it takes you out of I don't know for you as a fan if it takes you outside of that moment, but it 100% takes me out of that moment all the way takes me out of that moment, because I'm just like, all right, so like, just jump already. Or just move. Get out of the way. Just part like the Red Sea and let them splash on the floor. Was it a good match? I think the match was all right. I think that looking at how Saudi Arabia does business and runs their government, to seeing 8 women inside of the ring doing their thing. They had 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They had 12 women on the show last night, which is a big upgrade. And I'm counting the referee as one of them. It's come a far way in Saudi Arabia to allowing women to do their thing. You know, they have to wear those long sleeve because they can't show any skin. But I don't really understand that too much. I don't really understand the religion or what they do too much. But it's like you can still see the curves. And golly, let me tell you, you got some girls out there like Bianca Belair, very curvy. She got more curves in her than the Jackie Robinson Parkway in Brooklyn. And it's like, that's okay, but not showing skin is okay. I don't know. If you understand it, explain it to me inside of the chat. We're going to look at the triple threat match between LA Knight and Andrade and what's his name? Sorry, forgot his name right now. But I think that match is a good match. You know, I think that LA Knight, he kind of put himself into a corner having that match, and but he walked away and retained. You know, I think that those 2 matches they're okay. You know, like they didn't really progress any stories. You know, it's like, okay, well, you know, let's just keep watching. Let's just see what happens next. Because after watching those matches could have really been on SmackDown and Raw. You know, like WWE's been doing a great job putting the best matches on their PLEs, their pay-per-views. And this match here, I'm not saying that this match was not the best match, but they've been putting like these high-stakes matches for championships on regular paid TV. Normally, the WWE PLEs normally run about 5 matches, but this one has been the longest PLE with the most matches in recent history. So it's like, I guess like Triple H said, every time they go to Saudi Arabia, they want to over-deliver. So I guess, you know, we expect 5, and when they go to Saudi Arabia, they give 6 or 7. Okay, fine. You know what? That works. That works. But yeah, those matches were okay. You know, I guess you got to watch Raw and SmackDown to see what happened next. If you like what I'm doing, feel free to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. I got a really cool show, live episode coming out on Tuesday. I'm talking about the lies of Hulk Hogan. That's right. Hulk Hogan has told many lies in his time on the planet. And we're going to look into all of them and we're going to laugh together. That's Tuesday at noon Eastern Standard Time. It's Eastern Standard Time now because we had to change our clocks back. So yeah, we're going to be using Eastern Standard Time from now on. Oh, you forgot to change your clock back? Change your clock back. Let's take a look at Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. Look, there was supposed to be a match. There was supposed to be a match in Saudi Arabia last night. And I tell you what happened. The match didn't happen. The match didn't happen because those 2 men, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, decided, you know what? They were just gonna brawl before the bell rang. And those 2 men, let me tell you, they fought probably if Kevin Owens didn't jump off of the balcony onto Randy Orton, they'd probably still be fighting in Saudi Arabia. They'd probably have to separate the 2 men, have them fly home separately because those 2 men had beef. And all this beef stems from them backing Cody Rhodes only a couple months ago, 6 months ago at WrestleMania 40 XL, the biggest WrestleMania of all time, and that's until WrestleMania 41. And it's just like, for me, I think that's just a little bit too crazy because y'all let Cody Rhodes put the battery in y'all back, right? Y'all let Cody Rhodes put the battery in your back, so now that Cody Rhodes is out there doing his own thing. You guys helped Cody Rhodes, but where's Cody Rhodes now? Where's Cody to say, hey, look, remember, we're all friends. Why can't he just say, hey, brothers, can't we all just get along? But no, he's not saying that. He's out there wrestling for rings. You know, he wanted the ring that he's going to wrestle for, to wrestle against Gunther, to prove that he's the best while his 2 boys are out there killing each other. Those were the 2 people that had Cody's back doing the whole deal with the OG Bloodline. And now they're out there fighting each other tooth and nail. When they are done, Cody Rhodes has some beef. And you know what? As I said before in a previous episode, and it was called, Here's the Problem with Cody Rhodes. Cody's going to have to watch his back because Randy's coming for him. Randy's got his butt kicked by the Bloodline. He's had so many other things. He even had Kevin Owens jump off and drop the elbow on him, and he had to be wheeled out of the arena at Crown Jewel last night. Yo, Randy Orton being a good guy's not working for him. It's not working for him. Randy Orton needs to go back to his roots. He needs to go back to being a heel like he's supposed to be. Because when he's being a good guy, look what's happening to him. He wants to kiss babies. He wants to pal around with the boys. No, damn all that, Randy. Go back to who you are. Go back to being the Viper. Go back to being the legend killer. Because right now you got a legend in front of you. You got a legend in the making. You got Cody Rhodes, right? That once you're done with Kevin Owens, set your sights on Cody Rhodes. I wouldn't be surprised if I see you see a Royal Rumble match between Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. Hey, keep your eyes open for that. But this rivalry, though, has shifted from camaraderie to animosity in just a couple weeks, and it's definitely adding lots of layers to the tenured Randy Orton and the tenured Kevin Owens. And I'm looking forward to see where this is going to go on Raw. I think that Randy Orton is going to go away just for a little bit, and then he's going to come back, and then he's going to reheat everything again. Because you know what? Him and Kevin Owens, they've still got beef. They still got beef, and they got to definitely solve that. Looking at the OG Bloodline versus the new Bloodline, I think that was a really good match. That was a really good match to open the show, and I felt that if that match was the main event, you definitely get some kind of implication. I think that would have been a really good main event. It would have been a really good main event. And the reason why it would have been a really good main event is because of the end. Obviously, unfortunately, the new Bloodline was able to beat the OG Bloodline. The OG Bloodline has has Roman Reigns in it, and the issue is, I think that the OG Bloodline, they're trying to figure out how to get their feet wet again, because they haven't worked together since way back when, since earlier in the year, all together, the Usos and everybody else. So, they kind of zigged when they should have zagged. However, I think that the match was a really good match, and the new Bloodline was able to capitalize. And at the end, you've got the Bloodline, the new Bloodline, standing over the OG Bloodline, and he's getting ready to crush the head of Jey Uso, and this is what we got here. Sami Zayn is forced with a very tough decision, and Solo Sikoa's like, hold on, everybody, let's see what Sami is going to do. We already know what Sami is going to do, right? Sami 100% always chooses bros over hoes, and he definitely chose his bro over his hoe there. However, Sami came out to make the save, and there was a whole entire brawl and stuff like that. And at the end, Roman got a hell of a kick. And you see, it was an accident. It wasn't purposeful. But I definitely see that there is going to be some kind of altercation, or there's going to have to be some explaining that Roman Reigns is going to need, because everybody, Jey Uso's like, yo, that's my man Sami. Sami's all right. But now you let your man back into the Bloodline to help us, and this is what happened. So now that I love it, because the easy story is just for them to say, hey, you know what? We're just going to put Sami Zayn back into the Bloodline. However, instead of just putting Sami Zayn back into the Bloodline and walking into the Survivor Series War Games match, which I think where we're leading to next, they are making us wait for it just a little bit more. I love it that WWE is not just feeding us the easy storylines. They're just not making it easy for us. They're making it worth their while. So I definitely think that Sami's mess up is going to have some implications on SmackDown. I think it was a really good match between the OG Bloodline and the new Bloodline, and I think that you're going to have to definitely want to watch SmackDown. I'll be watching SmackDown because I definitely want to see what happens next in that story. Now, we got news coming out of the weekend that Goldberg retired. Oh, real quick, if you like what I'm doing, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Got a lot of cool things coming on, and we're getting ready to go into Goldberg's retirement right now, because Goldberg just mentioned yesterday on television that he is retiring. This is not Crown Jewel related, but it happened a couple moments. It happened during the time when Crown Jewel was happening. So I said, you know what? Let's not address it. And you know what? Goldberg retiring? Oh, you want to know how I feel? Oh, I'm about to cut a promo. I'm about to cut a promo right now. So, breaking news from WWE's official account on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Goldberg announced his retirement match. It's happening. Wait for it. Next year. Yeah, you heard that right. Big Bill Goldberg is hanging it up in 2025, folks. And I got to be honest here. My first thought was, Wasn't he already retired? I mean, after that last 3-minute quickie against Roman Reigns in 2022, wasn't that supposed to be it? It seems like every time you think he's gone, Goldberg pops back up for one more farewell match. And now, he's saying he's got some time to get ready? Really? For what? A 3-minute sprint? Bill, this isn't a weekend charity event. It's supposed to be a wrestling match. Goldberg has been a powerhouse since 1997, sure, and nobody's taken away what he did in WCW. The streak, the dominance, it was legendary. But come on, Bill, your matches are shorter than the 40-year-old's virgin's first time. If you're really going out, if this is your big farewell, then make it count. Give us one match, just one, that lasts longer than your usual highlight reel. Give us some ebbs and flows, some drama, excitement, something that justifies this retirement hype. And as for the rumored opponent, the frontrunner's Gunther. Let me say this, if I'm Gunther, I'd be sweating too. Not because of Goldberg, but because of the backstage politics that could force him to drop the title to a part-timer. Gunther's been out here every week proving he's one of the best, carrying the WWE World Heavyweight Championship with pride and giving the fans matches with grit, technical skill, and intensity. And now you want him to just go down for a guy who hasn't wrestled a full-length match since Jesus was a child? Look, Bill, I get it. You're a Hall of Famer, and you've earned respect. But wrestling's evolved. It's not 1997 anymore. And we want more than a spear, jackhammer, and a quick pin. We want to see passion, storytelling, and stamina. Something that shows that you're giving us every ounce you've got left. So please, if you're stepping in this ring for this last match, make it worth our time, because right now it sounds like just another Goldberg comeback, and we've seen this movie before. 2025, Goldberg's big retirement, but let's be real, folks. It's probably just another chapter in the never-ending saga of the one more match. So Goldberg, bring your best, bring some fire, bring something more memorable for once, because if this is your last match, make us believe it. Thanks so much for joining me on the Tristan Law Show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you like what I did. I'll be back on Tuesday for another episode live of the Tristan Law Show. We're going to be talking about all the lies that Hulk Hogan has told in his whole entire time. And you don't want to miss it. You want to make sure that you want to be there. Thanks so much for joining me today, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm Tristan Law, and this is the Tristan Law Show, and I'll see you next time.